Professional guardians under fire.
The families are wanting some answers here. Why don't you want to talk to us, Rebecca?
And the I-Team uncovers a system in crisis.
Obviously, bad things are happening, but there doesn't seem to be anyone held accountable.
Now, after our reporting, lawmakers are calling for change.
When I first heard about this, like, what do we need to do? And we need to do it now.
Yeah, and tonight the I-Team getting results after exposing very serious problems with Florida's guardianship program statewide, and now federal and state lawmakers are demanding major reforms.
I-Team investigator Adam Walser has covered this broken system for 6 years, and tonight he exposes a troubling backlog at the state watchdog charged with policing guardians.
No way. They're not going to put me in it.
The I-Team uncovering new problems.
The only thing I really wanted was to protect my mom and dad.
Plaguing Florida's troubled guardianship system.
My father is not the only senior that this has happened to. It's a heartbreaking nightmare.
We found guardians routinely issuing do not resuscitate orders without court approval. Why are you signing DNR orders when you don't have any kind of medical background? This guardian now under criminal investigation for the death of a man under her care after she ordered a DNR without permission. He choked to death after you signed this, and the hospital people told you that could happen. Do you not feel bad about that? We also discovered hospitals across the state paying attorneys to go to court and take away patients' rights for questionable reasons, such as a shortage of hospital beds and because a patient with a Kia Soul that is almost paid off may be repossessed.
Certainly missing a payment on a car doesn't seem like it would be a financial emergency.
After the I-Team's findings, state lawmakers now sounding off.
It really shone a spotlight on the issue.
This is evil. What's happening here is really evil.
When I first heard about this, like, what do we need to do? And we need to do it now.
These lawmakers pushing bipartisan bills to crack down on how guardians are appointed and paid, and requiring a judge to sign off on any DNRs.
Bottom line is, we don't want to make a mistake because do not resuscitate is final. It's death. So I'd rather err on the side of caution.
And on Capitol Hill,
you start to realize after your great reporting, and thank you very much for that, the incidence of how often this is happening in Florida. It's very troubling.
Florida Congressman Charlie Crist backing federal legislation to better vet guardians, creating a national database to better protect an estimated 1.3 million seniors in guardianship nationwide.
Obviously, whatever steps have been taken thus far haven't been sufficient to stop the kind of activity, at least that we're seeing in Florida. But obviously, it's happening in other parts of the country.
In Florida, we found the state watchdog paid to police it all, falling down on the job.
What troubled me about some of the issues you guys raised was obviously bad things are happening, but there doesn't seem to be anyone held accountable.
That was Governor Ron DeSantis back in February, after we revealed the state watchdog in charge of keeping guardians in check was doing little to protect seniors from abuse, routinely issuing nothing more than warning letters.
That just doesn't strike me as being acceptable.
Now we've uncovered that state watchdog, known as the Office of Public and Professional Guardians, spent $641,000 of your tax money investigating 84 guardians, some for multiple complaints. But even though its own investigators found serious issues, the office has only revoked one license in the 3 years since it opened. And adding to that dysfunction, the entire office staff resigned earlier this year in the wake of our reports. The I-Team obtained new internal documents showing a huge backlog even before those resignations. And we uncovered in the majority of those cases, the investigation had been closed for more than 200 days before the Guardian was sent a letter officially closing the case.
I turned in those complaints in 2017.
Kathleen Zagros complained to the state watchdog about a guardian ignoring her mother's wishes and ordering a DNR. The investigation wrapped up on September 25th, 2018, but it was only officially closed after the office sent the Guardian a warning letter on October 14th, 2019, more than a year later.
They weren't supposed to keep investigating it. They just sat on it.
So what were staff members doing during that time? Work calendars obtained by the I-Team show conference calls and budget meetings, but also more than a dozen office social events, including birthday lunches, a bake sale, a chili cook-off, and something called a rainy day pizza party. Zagros says she believes the state only sent her mother's guardian a warning letter after the I-Team got involved in her case.
It just took off. The story took off. And everything has happened since then. People are more aware. We're finally being listened to.
We contacted the state about our findings. The head of the Department of Elder Affairs says its watchdog has limited power to hold bad guardians accountable, and it supports new, tougher rules currently under debate at the state capitol. I'm I-Team investigator Adam Walser, taking action for you.
And you can see all of our I-Teams reporting on Florida's guardianship system and watch episode 1 of an online-only series of in-depth stories. Just go to abcactionnews.com/protection. It's all in one place.